Imam Irshad Osman, who's from the Danforth Islamic Center and also an active member of the Toronto East Anti-Hate Mobilization.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May God's peace and blessings be upon you. And good morning. I know it's really cold. And I have to make a disclosure. My speech is not going to be in line with what you heard so far. So my speech is almost, it's going to be about inward looking perspective. Do you have the permission? Yeah. Okay, good morning everybody. I stand here today representing T.E.A.M, as well as I'm here as a neighbor and an imam from this community who believes our diversity isn't just a strength, it's a sacred responsibility. The theme of this rally is unity. But let's be honest with each other. In our city, the mirror of our city, the mirror that reflects our shared justice, isn't just dusty or blurry, but it is shattered and broken. In a fractured world, we no longer see the fullness of one another. We see fragments, race, religion, status. We allow these fragments to become the basis for judgment and exclusion. Over time, we mistake these fragments for the whole. This is what racism does. It doesn't just wound individuals, it shatters our shared vision of humanity. When the mirror is broken, you get a fragmented reality. You get sectarianism, where we only see our own small piece of the glass. We get paternalism, where the top decides for the bottom without looking them in the eye. And you get Orientalism, where the mirror reflects only a distorted Western view of the East. I know at events like these, we often hear that racism is wrong. Of course, yes. But I want to go a little deeper than that today, because I think we owe each other that honesty. Dear brothers and sisters, discrimination is not accidental, nor simply the result of a personal prejudice. It is ingrained in structures, inherited through history, normalized by culture, and reproduced across institutions, including by those that seek to challenge it. The first Dalit Bishop of the Church of England, Reverend Dr. Anderson Jeremiah, called this the architecture of prejudice, a system that dehumanizes, institutionalizes, and controls who has access to power and voice. And the troubling thing is that about that architecture is that we don't always see that, because we live inside it, and maybe we are reproducing the very injustices we seek to address. Racism, classism, colorism, sexism, ableism, lookism, elitism, credentialism, you name it. All these are not cultural phenomena, but dangerous parallel systems that arrange humans into hierarchies of value. Think about the ordinary questions we ask from each other. Where are you from? Where did you study? Who is your grandfather? Which family you're coming from? They sound harmless, but they really are. They locate people within a social hierarchy and determine, often in subtle ways, how a person will be treated from that moment onward. We have normalized the habit of ranking humans before we even know their names. The truth is, we can be both marginalized by the societies around us, like white supremacy, and exclusionary within our own spaces. We speak beautifully about inclusion and solidarity while perpetuating the inequities of thought and action amongst us. As a result, sometimes when we see racism, discrimination faced by these other groups, we tend to ignore it, justify it sometimes, or even perpetuate it because of the distorted view of the shattered mirror. How do we fix it? To eliminate racial discrimination, we must be prepared to do the dangerous work of reassembling that mirror. Here are the three blueprints for today. First, we must kill the phantom of neutrality. We have all heard it. I don't see color, or there's no racism in our faith, or we treat everyone equally in our workplace. It sounds peaceful, but it's a ghost. Neutrality in the face of systemic exclusion is not a virtue. It is accountability blindness. We cannot heal what we refuse to name. We must stop being neutral and start being intentional. We have to see the jagged edges of racism and classism and colorism call them by names, and then move to dismantle them. Number two, that we must move from apology to architecture. We have had decades of sincere regrets and tokenism, but you can't fix a shattered mirror with a handshake or an apology. Trust is social architecture. It's not warm feeling. It's a structure built on policy, transparency, and redistribution of power. We don't just want a seat at the table. If the table is built on a foundation of exclusion, we don't want that seat. But we are here to redesign the room and rebuild that house. Third, we must accept that justice is a state of constant repair. We often talk about equality like it's a destination, a place we will arrive and we finally get to rest. But as anyone who builds community knows among all of you, the work of unity is daily maintenance. It's an active labor. It's a commitment to stay in the tension of the jagged edges until every person, regardless of their background, can see their own full humanity reflected back in the glass. I don't think we need grand declaration today as much as we need honest conversations within our families, our institutions, our communities, and, I repeat, our places of worship. Yeah. Who holds power in our organization? Whose voices is consistently missing from the table? What assumptions have we inherited and never thought to question? Racism erodes it by sending a brutal message that some people matter less than others. Rebuilding that trust requires responsibility. More than that, it requires relationship, real relationships. That kind that crosses racial and ethnic lines, not for the sake of optics, but because we genuinely believe in the dignity of the person in front of us. Yeah. Now, to close it off, as an imam, let me end this with in Islamic terms. Racism and discrimination are not just social issues. They are serious violations of human dignity and a sin against God and humanity. Yeah. A sin, not a misunderstanding, not a difference of opinion, a grave sin. Yeah. Yes, the mirror is broken, but its fragments still reflect something worth recovering. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.